When we look at it, the biggest issue I find with people when it comes to application is their tolerance of risk. Anytime that you try something new, I don't care if what you've done has worked, you're trying something new, you're trying out something outside your comfort zone, there's a risk involved in it. The risk is it may not work. The risk may be that it did work, but I have to risk internal stuff. My question is, are you in a position of willing and able to risk? Get outside your comfort zone. So if we risk, we have to look at our decision making and how we make decisions in the heat of the battle. And it shocks me that we spend so much time and energy trying to focus in and solve outcomes and results. When outcomes and results, that's the after effect. So why are we spending time and energy fixing or dealing with outcomes and results when it's our decisions that create them? It's poor decision making that creates it. Look, you may want to write this down in your notes. I was going to talk about it later, but it fits right here if you are taking notes. These are the two absolute fundamental rules when it comes to sales. The first one is, every problem that you have when it comes to selling occurs for one of two reasons. Here they are. One of two reasons. Every problem that you have. The first is either you did or you said something you were not supposed to. Go ahead, write it down. Either I did or I said something I was not supposed to. The other reason that all your sales problems happen is you didn't say or you didn't do something you were supposed to. That's it. No more, no less. Let's not make it complicated. So if we do something or we didn't do something, that's the result. Therefore, that comes the outcome. If you don't ask the right pain questions, the results are you're going to get to think it over. If you're going to think it over, next thing you know, your outcome is you're not building a business, you're not making money. Why are we complaining about the think it overs when it's the decisions that we made that got us there? So when we look at decision making, we have to say to ourselves, man, that's tough stuff to fix. So we got to get gutsy. We got to have some goals. We got to have purpose. We got to have a tipping point. So when we're in the heat of the battle, I got that little push. So when we look at goals, we look at the behavioral plan or the goals plan. Again, you've seen this. This is the bottom right, left-hand corner of the success triangle. We have attitude, behavior, and technique. And to create goals, we go north to south. A goals plan. You create your goals, you have your plan, and then you do your action steps. But to accomplish your goals, you got to go north. You got to walk the ladder. You got to do the action steps, follow your plan to get to your goals. This big Harvard Business Review study 2 years ago they spent a lot of time and energy on it. Is it a poor plan or is it a poor execution? The reality is there is no egg and chicken. It's the same thing. Execution is part of your plan. Part of your plan includes execution. If you have a great plan that you buy into, but you don't buy into the execution of it, which is the action items, we're done. So when we look at this thing, we look at goals for a moment. Goals are relatively easy, long-term, short-term, and daily goals. You've heard everyone talk about it. It's actually proven that just having long-term goals is a demotivator. Either you do it or you don't do it. It's 100% or not. Only having long-term goals actually erodes some of your self-esteem. You need to, whatever it's worth on your notes, you need to have daily goals. Daily goals. Daily goals. Your brain is geared, your noggin inside your head is geared to like success. It's like pleasure. It doesn't want pain, it wants instant gratification. So while you're changing, you can't say, I'm going to get to where that speaker is from here. What you need to do is, I'm going to the speaker, I will be at the speaker, but today I have to focus in on this. And a lot of what Tom was talking about is mirroring some of the stuff that we're talking about now. You got to look up, but you got to look down. Along with your goals, you got to have plans. And with those plans, when you start creating your plans, you have to build it. Of course, that's logical. And with your building it, you have to track it, and then you got to fine-tune and edit it. Here's something else I'd like to write down in your notes if you can, to get mini wins. Again, it goes back to the same couple fundamental things. What's your tipping point? What are your mini wins to create your ideal self? Here's a one-liner you may want to write down. You train to improve ratios. Train to improve ratios. It creates wins. Why do esoteric stuff if I don't understand how I'm going to win from it? Wins. You train to change ratios. Then all the money comes into the next pod, which is action steps. Action steps is discipline, vitality, and guts. Vitality, I'm sure you read all this stuff before, but you realize that inside your body, if you have too much acidic going through you, that you are actually 70% negative. You view negative thoughts. You're more susceptible to negative thoughts. Shocking. Yet, we also have goals, guts and discipline. Guts is absolutely important. You got to have some courage to do this stuff.